Okay, it is 4:30 p.m. Pacific time on March 15th, and I want to talk about something that is in the news right now. I saw it on Blue Sky, and then I just immediately poured over a bunch of articles, and I think it is worth talking about. Now, I just filmed a video on my backup. I probably haven't posted it yet. I'll probably post this first, where I was saying that we need to really decide where we give our energy. What are the news stories that are worth like getting your heart rate up and being concerned about? What is really a 5-alarm fire, and what is something that is meant to troll you, meant to overwhelm you? What is something that is just part of the shock and awe that is not going to go anywhere? So this story in particular, I think is one that we need to pay attention to. I think it does not portend anything good for the future of America. It's not just this particular story. It is when it is placed in the greater context of things that this regime has said, that Trump has said. So this is something that it concerns me greatly. So the breaking headline is that Trump orders large-scale military strikes against Yemen's Houthis. I first saw Denise Wheeler post this, and she said, "Get ready, everyone. The real headline here is that Trump has launched a test operation for attacks on Panama, Greenland, and then later Canada. He vowed to use overwhelming lethal force against Yemen, but guaranteed that this is a test run for what he's really planning." I think Denise's take is accurate, and this is why I am very concerned. So let's talk about what's happening, unfolding now in Yemen. First of all, Denise linked to the Washington Post. Do not give your clicks to the Washington Post. I'm going to be reading from the AP. So this story by the AP broke about 2.5 hours ago, and it says U.S. President Donald Trump says he has ordered airstrikes against Iran-backed rebels in Yemen and issued a warning to Tehran. Don't the MAGAs say that he's the president who's going to end war, that he's the president who is going to usher in peacetime because he's so strong, he's going to get everybody to stop their conflicts? And yeah, okay. So the reason that Trump is weighing into this conflict is, I think he's test running for his future acts of aggression, but also because capitalism, because the Houthis are targeting merchant vessels. Using missiles and drones, they sunk 2 vessels and killed 4 sailors. That stopped in mid-January with the ceasefire in Gaza. Trump said these relentless assaults have cost the U.S. and world economy many billions of dollars, while at the same time putting innocent lives at risk. So he is announcing an airstrike. He announced it on social media. He said the strikes were meant to protect American shipping, air, and naval assets and to restore navigational freedom. Let's not forget that this conflict is happening, has been going on for, I think about a decade in the poorest nation in the Arab world. And that we have contributed to that situation, right? Whenever there is economic stress and poverty and disenfranchisement and people feel hopeless, you end up getting insurgencies, you end up getting rebels, you end up getting terrorist organizations. Speaking of which, the Trump regime has reinstated the title Foreign Terrorist Organization for the Houthis, which means that they can then offer more military support to fight them. But here's why this concerns me so much. Because I do think that Denise is right here when he says he will use overwhelming lethal force against Yemen's Houthis, that this is a test run for what he wants to do against our allies, Panama, Greenland, and Canada. Right, which is why I replied, we all really need to think about whether we are going to accept our sons and daughters dying in a war against our own allies so that Trump can play Lebensraum. The military needs to think about where their oath lies. Russia has lost over 100,000. Ukraine says it's more like 300,000 sons to Putin's war of aggression against Ukraine. Trump will do much worse to our own sons and daughters. As the mother of a 13-year-old and a 16-year-old, both boys, that will have to register for selective service, I am very, very worried about what that means for their future, where we are going to get dragged into these wars of aggression against our own allies. And the cost could be tremendous to our young people, to our sons and daughters, to families across this nation, to communities, hundreds of thousands, or more. I have seen some people talking over the last few days about how when Trump makes threats against Canada, they are not idle threats. And I think that's very true. They are not idle threats. And I don't know where the line is. I don't understand how we have not crossed the line a long time ago for every single person in America, but right, are we the kind of nation where we want our sons and daughters to die in a war against our friends to the north? Our friends in Canada, those are our friends. We don't have any beef with them. We don't have any problem with them. They are our allies. Panama is our ally. Greenland, Denmark, they're our allies. Do people not understand how insane this is? Where is the line? Are we going to end up in a situation where we are allowing our children to be conscripted into the military? People who volunteer to serve, people who volunteer to serve in the armed forces, this is not what they signed up for. They didn't sign up to be part of the axis of evil. They signed up to defend freedom, defend democracy, defend the American way of life and the Constitution. So I don't know. I don't want to freak people out unnecessarily, but this concerns me today, and this greater issue of the aggressive actions that Trump keeps threatening against our allies, and the fact that he idolizes Putin so much, and Putin is somebody who has caused the deaths of hundreds of thousands of young Russians, putting them into wars that were unnecessary, should not have happened, wars of aggression, just so Putin could create a legacy or whatever. He wants to restore the former Soviet Union, Soviet bloc countries. People have died needlessly in Russia by the hundreds of thousands, and are we heading toward that here in America too? And are we the people going to allow that?